Hello and welcome. This is the Real and Raw WWW Worldwide Wrestling. No, this is the weekly Wellness Wednesday, where we wrestle with some of life's challenges that are thrown our way. And we have a very special VIP guest tonight. And remember, the most important VIP on this line is, yeah, we're looking at you right there. You're showing up what 95% of this planet do not do. I'm sure you'd agree, Jim and Tanya.
Totally.
You're doing it, guys. So I'm Robert at my beautiful home here in Granbury, Texas, and my amazing co-host,
Jim Rhodes in St. George, Utah, where it's nice and warm today.
Nice and warm here too. And our guest is not far from Jim, a few hours up in Cedar Hills. Am I getting it right? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Cedar Hills, Utah.
Up in Utah. Thank you. So we want to welcome you and thanks for joining us. Thanks for honoring us with your time, whether you're on this live or this recording. So a little quick promo, and Jim and I are always promoting this ever-growing, beautiful, expanding library and of these beautiful interviews we've done. Jim, isn't it just amazing what's been happening the last few months?
It is, and each one is intriguing all in its own, because everybody's story is different, because everybody's health journey is different, and yet we have some solutions to so many of those troublesome health journeys that it's amazing to see that these solutions are really making that big of a difference in people's lives. And that's what this is all about.
It is. Whether you're looking for a story around an 18-year-old or any age in between, and active, athlete, couch potato, whatever it is, we have this story. Not many couch potatoes that we're interviewing, but that being said, we do have some fun stories and they're ever expanding. So tonight we have this amazing lady, and to be very transparent, she met Jim a few months ago now, almost a year and a half. About a year and a half now. Okay, awesome. And she was there when we were just chuckling about this. She was there when, by the way, for those listening, Jim is one of our top leaders, platinum leaders, 2-star servant leader, amazing, 50 years now, 50 decades. 50 decades, right. 5 decades.
I'm old.
Wow.
Okay, decades. I am that old. Okay.
Yeah,
First person to ever get it right. I used to golf with Moses. Yes, I am that old.
Yeah, we have an incredible anti-aging system.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So anyway, she's been on board for some time, although she just literally came out of the closet publicly and said, hey, here's what I'm doing. And that's when I was kind of given a heads up about it. And it was mainly because of the lady we all love, Jill Birth, that you are here with us tonight. So this lady is, I would say, a serial entrepreneur. She's an amazing, proud and loving mom and a loving wife. She is an entrepreneur coach, a financial coach. She helps people take their business to the next level. And now she's obviously helping people impact their lives and transform their lives with our wellness system. And tonight we'll be focused on her just personal story and why is she now, really even publicly, why is she excited about this wellness system that we all love called Zallevo? Anything else you want to say, Jim, before we bring on?
Yes, and her name is Tanya Faulk. and everybody needs to remember that, because it will be a big name in the wellness industry, in my personal opinion, because of the influence and who she is and the caring she has for people.
Very true. Very true. And guys, Tanya, before you come on, let's recognize who we have. We have a few live listeners. They always kind of filter in here. So we have Carolyn and Cindy and Barb. Thanks for being on tonight. And again, as you're coming on, feel free to say hello so we can recognize you. And there will be a little Q&A toward the end. So Miss Tanya Faulk, welcome.
Yes, Thank you. It's a
official.
pleasure to be here.
You bet. Thank you for accepting this and being put on the spot, because this is so raw and real. It's just going to be questions that hopefully just come right straight out of your heart.
Sounds great.
You
Yes,
bet.
thanks for being here. So my first question is why did we emphasize accelerate? I know on the preview you talked about acceleration, and then optimization, all these words that were obviously important words to you, so we can all live at a higher level. So my first question is, why? What was the passion that has now kind of been ignited?
So I am an entrepreneur and a busy woman, and I love having enough energy to do everything I want to do.
Mm.
And my approach to finances really played well with the Zallevo system, because I could recognize there's some foundations. There's a way to optimize, and I wanted to optimize my health. I have some health targets. Like, I would like to reduce some of my weight that gets in my way. But I wanted optimal health, not just weight loss.
Mm.
And I didn't want just one single health target. I go back to the word optimizing my health. I like to optimize my clients' finances, my finances. I like to optimize my health, whether it's financial or my physical, emotional, mental health. So I got very excited. I have known about Zallevo for a while, have dabbled with it, have had some great success with the products. I've been a reluctant customer. I'm picky. I don't always like to drink my food. That was a real deal. But I had a big aha recently, sitting in the Zallevo office, and it's the trio. And that's where I recognize the biggest first foundation, what I call the trio. It's the collagen, the burn, and the E-Vibe. And I watched, after just drinking it, sitting there casually, because I was at the Zallevo office, the rest of the day I made different choices in what I put in my body.
Wow.
And being health conscious and mindful, that was a huge help for me to realize that just putting those nutrients in completely changed what my body craved. I didn't have to manage myself.
So what shifted? You say it changed. What was another day different from that? What was different about that day after that?
So I was technically on vacation down in St. George, and I had really been cutting it up with a lot of sugar and just kind of just having fun eating whatever, and not necessarily bad stuff, but just not great. And the realization that I could have satisfaction, as well as I love to enjoy food. I've worked hard to have a good relationship with food. Regardless, I've had some amazing health challenges in my life. And so not letting food become an enemy was really important to me, and avoiding some, well, we see a lot of things around women and their relationship to food being negative. I grew up with a mom that had a real negative fear of food, let alone just some eating disorders and stuff. And so that was really important to me to have a healthy relationship. Zallevo and the foundations so just being able to use the trio and that shake, that's my other thing. I recognized what had been right under my nose this whole time. I'd used the burn a lot, and I had taken some of the other supplements, but I kept avoiding the shake. I just had a mindset. And what was super fun is getting to go back to Jill's house right after that. And we started in with the shake. She made me a shake, and something had changed. I can only attribute it to just, I made it a determination that I wanted to know what else this thing could do if it was matched with some mindful eating and intuitive eating. And that's what took off. In the next few days, everything shifted. And so here I am now.
Yeah. And we're learning from you. And because what you're bringing up is some very, I would say, I think we'd all three agree, some problematic mindset thoughts that hinder a lot of people, including, I would say, especially women, as you said. So when you say often enough, so many individuals can potentially look at food as their enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts, Jim, before we go back to Tanya on that?
Well, food becomes your enemy when you're trying to restrict things you know that aren't good for you and try to eat more of the healthy kind, and yet the other ones keep pulling you back in, because you can become addicted to particularly sugar. It's one of the most addictive forms of energy the body craves. And when you have cravings that don't get satisfied, you lose to them. You can fight it with willpower for so long, and then often you fall in, and then you start to become angry with yourself, thinking you don't have enough willpower, not realizing you're actually addicted. When the body gets all of the building blocks and all of the nutrients in, say, that one meal, that Ultra 30 meal replacement shake, which is full spectrum, suddenly every cell of your body lights up and says, this is what we've been craving all along. You've been looking for it right, left, and in between. You've tried all of the things that substitute, but won't hold you. And then when you do get that, those cravings just start to melt away. And we would like to say it's our own willpower and mindset. Those help, but it's literally that the body becomes satisfied and quits sending those signals to the brain, go eat more, go eat more, go eat more, when you're trying to, say, lose a few pounds or just eat more healthily than the things that you're craving and wanting to eat that you know don't belong in your body.
So there's a physiological response.
There is a chemical reaction, physiological reaction, that everything gets bumped one way or another into the cravings, looking for that whatever is missing, because I keep eating this, this, and this, because the body says, oh, it must be in there, it must be in there. And often it's not. People experience this all the time when they go to a buffet. They'll eat 2-3 pounds of food and visit the dessert bar twice and go home, and 2 hours later, with all this food in them, they are in the refrigerator still looking for what it is that the body keeps saying, no, it's not here yet. When you have full spectrum, it's here in that one meal replacement. Boom.
So my question for Tanya next. Thank you, Jim. I love Tanya. So we do bounce back, and for those listening, we lean on Jim's strength from the physiological and wellness and nutrition. I just said 5 decades worth. And so Jim kind of grounds us in that. Tanya, with your permission, and Jim, with your permission, I would like to go back to Tanya for a second. So Tanya, can you speak about the psychological aspect of this subject?
Yeah, I love that explanation of what's happened physiologically. The same choice that developed the habit that creates the addiction is the same choice and decision-making process that actually helps me be successful. I can choose mindfully what goes across my lips, and no matter what I choose, I can enjoy it. I have a choice to enjoy it. So coming back to the psychological, my biggest obstacle is I've tried everything. I don't have a thyroid. I had 23 years of undiagnosed hypothyroid. I beat thyroid cancer.
Wow.
I am over 50 years old. I have all kinds of a long list of things that say my body can't optimize its health. And that's where I've been very frustrated. There's some things that have worked, but they take a ton of work. I successfully lost enough weight to be able to have 2 knee replacements last year that were way too early. And I'm going to wear these out. But coming back to the psychological, what changed for me was remembering what I had learned about the nutrients in Zallevo. I knew the nutrients were there. My biggest hurdle was developing the habit of using that particular leverage of the nutrients that are there and combining it with patterns and daily habits and incorporating them alongside my life. And one of the fun things that I soon realized is that I'd been missing out on a lot of convenience. It's very, very convenient to go down the hall, mix my trio in the morning, and then I make sure I have my first shake by noon. That's my pattern. This is so adaptable to any eating style. Any eating style can be supported with this, and regardless of what your objective is. But mine is make sure I have that shake, and that's what I call my foundation for the day. As long as I have that, if that's all I did, I already beat 90% of the challenge for the day right there.
So,
And
so a shake and a trio, shake and the trio.
trio and shake. So if I'm working out, I do the shake 30 minutes after and then follow up with a trio. Or my favorite thing to do is just start my day with the trio and I will work out later in the day. I'm a later in the day. So that's my foundation. And then it took me a few days to kind of really get in that habit. Jill helped me get there. And then I optimized. I optimized by incorporating the daily and the trim. And I just, for me, it has to be by my bedside or I will walk past it. It can't sit on the counter anymore because I don't hang out in the kitchen all the time. Again, I'm on the go. So I make sure it's by my bedside and I take them at night. And then what was super fun is as I was learning about some of the nutrients inside of Zallevo, the Fortitude, Jill reminded me, you better start taking that. So twice a day. And then I look at that as my accelerant. So it's like I've already been stoking the fire, revving up my metabolism. I've got tons of energy. And that Fortitude is that it just kind of like seals the deal. It's just that big accelerant stepping on the gas. So I always incorporate my foundation every day. I optimize it with my daily and trim, and I accelerate it with my Fortitude 85.
Wow. So Jim, did you hear that? I love how she just broke it down. So foundation and then optimize, because optimize from, I would say, way I'm saying that you optimized it because now your cells are getting it because now you're supplying the gut with the right biome, the right good guys, the bacteria.
Good bacteria, correct.
It
Yeah.
can maximize the foundations, the
Yes.
trio and the.
Yep.
Oh, I love that. And then I was expecting accelerant. I thought you were going to say EVI, but why? I would love to go back to Jim for a moment, Tanya, if you will. So why is it kind of cool, Jim, to use a slang word, but why is it really cool to put Fortitude alongside Tanya's term accelerant?
All of the rest. Fortitude is one of the most major delivery packages of the formulations because it has, I believe, 8 or at least 6 adaptogens in there. And these adaptogens go to the highest need of the body, literally, and energize those areas. And there is the rest of your story for your energy and your mental clarity. And they are de-stressors. And stress is the silent thief of everything. If you're taking all your energy worrying, then even your immune system can't mount a good fight when it runs into a bacteria that it needs to get rid of or a virus. So by utilizing the whole package, they're synergistic. They're all built around each other to benefit each other. So you're building on your foundation, which is, I agree totally with your foundation. That's wonderful. Now, the rest of the story is you can help the rest of your body by de-stressing it with the Fortitude 85 and giving optimal energy to the areas of the body that needs the most attention.
Wow. So, and you're getting all the beautiful, the glue, you're supporting the structure with the collagen, and then you're revving up that cellular engine with the E-Vibe with your trio. Yeah. And then you got the burn with all the beautiful nutrients there, including that. For those listening, I know it sounds salesy, but when you say 2 million plus, ORAC and all these antioxidants, it sounds unreal, but it's true. And then you put your beautiful, what else can we say about the shake? We could do a whole week-long series of calls, Tanya, as you know, on the shake. Yeah. And then your daily and trim, you take them together at night.
Yeah.
Okay. And then your accelerant Fortitude, again, that AM, PM. Mm-hmm. Admittedly, some days I take a midday dose of that on the days that I'm going hard. So my next question is, how long have you been on this foundation optimized, this routine? And then how do you, I know it may not be, I think it's a short period of time now, but how do you feel? What's different?
So June 1st is when I got really serious about all this. And I was not targeting a specific outcome. Other than I knew I needed to get it on board to see what it would do. So that's why I started with just the trio and the shake as I took a few days and just made sure I had that pattern down. And then I added in my daily and my trim, you know, about the day 4 or so. And then right around day 10 here, I have really started mastering that second shake and making sure that I have my fortitude twice a day, like not missing it. And the net result is when I stand on the scale once or twice a week, the pounds are falling off. I don't even have to think about it. The
Yeah.
net result of my it's kind of like wealth building. You step into wealth building habits, and the net result is debt reduction. So my weight debt is reducing dramatically as a result of investing in some wealth building principles for my health. It's kind of how I
Wow.
view it.
Can I add your idea to put them on your nightstand
Mhm.
so that you remember to take them? That's a clue for all of us, because on the days I remember to take everything, it's a better day. But
Mhm.
if I don't walk through the kitchen, look at the list of things that I know I should be doing, it often gets overlooked until it's already evening. And now I'm going, okay, I'll start again tomorrow, versus if
Right.
it's there to remind you on a daily basis, tell the habit is, yeah, you're feeding your body the best. And
My
that,
fortitude sits in my office.
and if you're taking your biome at night, they're time released into the small intestine because of the way that they're packaged, so that they have all night long to colonize. They're not mixed with all the food and don't leave your system, so that you're getting even more out of those.
So
Wow.
I'm not scientific. I love hearing the science behind this. I just understand reading it. The fact that I can understand and read the package.
Yeah.
I'm a really big fan of actually real food and clean eating.
That's
So
awesome.
for me as a consumer, I love all this science, like knowing how and why it's working at night, but that's not where I started. It was just like I can understand what I'm putting in my body and I know it works.
There you go. Well,
Can you
that's
say that again? You're about real food and clean eating. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Which is what we're doing here. I want to clarify something, because sometimes we do, people have, they get concerns. Well, I don't want to, I want to eat real food. And the point is, well, that's a whole series of calls to our food is missing so much of what we need. But I love, to me, it goes back to the word, your word that you're using a lot is, do you want to optimize and accelerate and then have the foundation? There's no way to optimize it, in our opinion, and in Jim's too, and so many other nutritionists, there's no way to optimize that and even accelerate it just on our normal food sources, because of, again,
You
where we
can't
are.
eat enough
Yeah.
to get
that's
what
the
you're
bottom
getting in a
line.
shake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The nutrients, some of those key nutrients are just not there because of the way they're grown.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I know we're toward the end of the call. So you mentioned in the pre-brief, and we use the word discomfort a lot here because we have to abide by the, FDA regulatory agencies at bay. Remember, guys, one little caveat, we say this every time: we do not treat, prescribe, diagnose, or cure anything. We simply put in the body what God made, and the body can be the miracle. You did mention, though, because of the knee replacements and other things going on, stress, etc., you also love this because of how it does keep your discomfort at bay.
Yeah.
Can you comment on that?
Yeah. So inflammation is a real disease.
Yeah,
sucker.
we don't use that word. That's the point. We replace
Understood.
inflammation with discomfort.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to give my body everything it needs to do its job so that I can go do my job. And so when I'm hunting, even at the grocery store, and looking at all the different vitamins I could take or whatever, I get frustrated because I've got to concoct some formula, and then I got to figure out how much I have to take. And then I have to figure out how I'm going to swallow 400 pills or 40 pills or whatever in a day. And my favorite thing, honestly, about Zallevo, I don't have time to figure out the science behind every vitamin. I trust the basics. And I know I go back to, I can read the label. It's not weird stuff. It's very straightforward, and I can recognize some of the important nutrients that I need to be able to help my body function at its optimal best. And that is my primary objective. And my primary objective for fully stepping into Zallevo is maybe I will be able to help others, just guide them in that process of finding that master nutrition for them, for their bodies.
I love that. And for the sake of posterity and using your story, because we're going to be using your story in some of the upcoming tools, again, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but has it helped? Can you use the word discomfort so we can actually use your story? Has it helped your discomfort? I know you've had knee replacements.
100%. Yeah, I had 2 knee replacements last year. So recovering from 10 years of being very physically limited from some incredible levels of pain.
Now
And
we can't use pain. Could you repeat that
thank you.
again, using the word
Yes,
discomfort? I would really have loved
discomfort.
that.
10 plus years of extreme discomfort. But seriously, the effects of being limited physically like that for so long, and then suddenly having that repair done, and then all of a sudden I've got a body that needs more help to keep up with the repair. So that's what really I was on the hunt for. How can I maximize everything I can put in my body that will help it work quickly? I don't want to wait 10 more years. I've got a lot to do. So I just recognized that what had been just waiting for me to be ready for it. And Zallevo was right there, and so was Jill and the Zallevo crew, and it's been a blessing.
It has been a
certainly is.
blessing.
May I give you a little unknown fact?
Sure.
The most inflammatory food on the planet. Could you guess it was sugar?
It's refined sugar.
Refined sugar. And the uniqueness of these foods is they taste delicious, and yet they don't have that refined problem. And that's why they help so much in the ability to recover from what you've gone through and the rebuilding of your entire body.
Wow. Well said. And thanks for reminding us all that's hidden. That's hidden in pretty much all of our so-called handy foods we have around us. So guys, for those listening, we're winding up here. So if you have a question that you would like to ask this awesome, beautiful lady here, please put that in the comments. So if there was something that for someone listening to your story and what you just shared that you really want to drive home and really just maybe if they took one takeaway from this conversation, what would that be, Tanya?
You have all the power to have the life and lifestyle that you want, and you are being given an opportunity to take a look at a product that will support the lifestyle you want to develop or live. And I firmly believe that. I'm watching it happen in my own life.
Wow, we have the power and we have the system, if you will, to support that and help you step into that. Well, I love that. Well, Tanya, obviously, I already highly respect the way you're so clear and you bring so much. It's clear that when you communicate with this certainty and this passion. So thank you for being who you are. It's clear why you are so successful in your professional walk. And now, as Jim said earlier, we're very excited you're on board as well as we do impact lives. So Jim, closing thought as well.
All I can say is thank you. You have articulated what everybody needs to understand. It's a choice. And if they choose to put this product in their bodies, I believe they will see similar results that you've seen. Hopefully, they will take that challenge because the foods do what these good nutrient-dense foods do. And that is give the energy, give the tools needed and the building blocks needed for the body to do what it does best, which is serve us.
Wow. Well said, Jim. And last thought, your sponsor asked the question in closing. Remember, this is a wellness and health focused call, although Jill did ask the question. So are you and why are you excited to share your story now with others in the world around you as well?
I know that getting in alongside someone is way more helpful than just telling them what they should do. And being able to share my story, but also get alongside them and help them be successful is my primary goal. There's ways for them to be able to develop the habits they need. The frustration doesn't have to be there anymore. Food doesn't have to be a villain. And there's help to overcome those challenges here.
Wow.
Beautifully said.
Well said. So, all right, guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. And for those listening, we do want to honor you. So before we do our little 1, 2, 3, we always do 1, 2, 3, force for good. It may be corny, but we love to do it, Tanya. So
Love it.
we're going to do it in a moment. Before we go there, Jill and Bill, thank you for joining us. Carol Lee, Kathy said, great story. Jill said, you are amazing, all in caps. Carol, I love your story. Debbie, wonderful story. Cindy and Gary, thank you guys. So as I said, Carolyn and Cindy Talley. So thank you guys for joining us. There'll be a lot more listeners as we share this resource. So all right, guys, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Force for good. Yeah, you're the force.
All right,
do good.
Love and light.
Love and light.
Thank you.
So very much, Tanya.
My pleasure.
Tanya. God bless.
You bet.
Take care.
Thanks.
Good night.
Good night.